You need to trust me on this one. Today I'm going to show you the opening that you need to reach 2000 elo. You don't need another opening. This is the perfect opening that you have for white. And I'm going to give you the full tutorial on how to go from 500 elo all the way to 2500 elo, because that's what I defeated in today's games.
What? 2500 elo rated player.
So just make sure to watch all the games, then we can sacrifice our bishop, a brilliant move because we touch on basically all the lines that there are to the Scotch Gambit and all that you need to know in order to reach 2000 elo. After all these games, let's sacrifice the knight. This is such a sharp opening. You're going to be well suited to go out there and play the Scotch Gambit, and you're going to be well suited with an opening to reach 2000 elo. Let's first take a minute and analyze the opening. So for this opening, you're going to start with e4. Now what the opponent is going to do is they play e5, you develop your knight, they develop their knight. This is a very common position, has been reached trillions of times, okay? You start with d4 and now they take. You would think that you take back and you enter the Scotch game, but no. Instead you develop the bishop. This is the Scotch Gambit, a very, very aggressive, powerful approach. And now your opponent has different moves. They can develop the bishop to different squares, they can push some pawns, or they can develop the knight. And in today's games, we are going to analyze all of them. Because this is the opening that is going to be hyper aggressive. You're going to gambit this pawn for various queen activities in the center. You have a lot of brilliant sacrifices. It's going to rain brilliance all over the place when we play these games. And you're going to see why this opening is very powerful. Let's get started with the games. 400 rated opponent. Okay, we start with e4. The opponent plays e5, we develop the knight. They usually develop their knight, and then we strike at the center with the Scotch Gambit. This is our opening that we're going to cover today. Now, let's see if he takes. This is the first requirement. If he doesn't, this is still a good thing to learn. So he doesn't take. Okay, we're going to push. Now, the opponent is going to go back. And now I'm then either going to develop my knight or even push a little bit more to create this space advantage, okay? Now, this is a very, very bad move because we can attack it once again. We are attacking the knight. The knight cannot go back, the knight cannot come forth, and the knight cannot go here. Because the knight is going to be taken regardless to what square he goes to. Obviously, he cannot capture his own pawn, so we have directly won the knight. This is a very, very instructional move on what to do if your opponent does not take. If they play anything like this, even this, the same thing, you still push, and now our opponent is in big, big trouble. In order to have a good game, you need to take, and that's why when we developed a bishop for the Scotch Gambit. So now we're just going to take over here. Our opponent has likely analyzed all the positions and realized, or has come to the realization that he is unable to go there. I'm just going to finish up developing, or first of all, trade a few of the pieces, because since we're up material, just keep it simple, trade everything down, castle your king to safety, and you should be good to go. Now, this is a very, very good example of why the Scotch opening is a good opening. This is a really, really good game. We're going to develop the bishop, we're going to play rook to b1, trade everything off, maybe even look for a few other trades, and after that we are going to summarize the game, because after we trade everything down, being up a knight is going to help us convert the endgame, and that is going to be game over for him. Now let's look to trade the rooks, and after that we are going to completely take over the game, like I've been saying. Let's see what he does. He can develop the bishop. Obviously the best move is to first take. So he doesn't take, instead he goes there. I'm just going to capture, and after that I am going to also take my first pawn. Now after we take, he's able to attack it, but after that, if he does, we're just going to discover defend, and we are going to be good to go. Now let's see, we develop a little bit. I want to at some point place my rook over here, but first let's see what the opponent does. This move f6 is not really good. He should have instead developed the knight, because now he's hindering the development of all of his pieces, but this is completely good for us. We do not complain, of course. So we're going to play c4, maybe rook b1, maybe we push c5, and a few more moves and we should be able to take over the game. Our opponent is also getting low on time. We should be able to secure the win, obviously. So this is the first instructional game of how to play the Scotch game and the Scotch Gambit. Obviously we did not enter the Scotch Gambit yet, but this is a very good example for you to see how you can defeat. Okay, so the opponent has lost on time, we were completely winning. Let's get to the next set. 568 rated opponent. We play e4, they're going to play e5 most likely. Nope. Maybe we transpose, let's see if they play e5. Okay, very good. Now we're going to develop this pawn or strike at the center with d4. They take, we develop the knight. 568, can we expect to take? Okay, very good, they took. So now we're just going to develop the bishop. This is the Scotch Gambit, and now they have various moves. And I'm simply going to go over here, attacking the knight. And maybe he does not know the main line, which is this. And then we can demonstrate this move. So here they're attacking this pawn twice. Very good. Very good that I can demonstrate this variation to you if they go here. Because now after takes and takes, they take back and then we play rook to e1. Very interesting that we're facing this variation. Because this is very, very educational. We're just going to push f4 now. The knight is pinned. We're going to take the knight, and that is going to benefit us insanely, massively, because from there on we're simply going to be able to develop and capture those pawns in the center that are annoying. We are up material, obviously, and from there on we should be really, really good to go. Now he's attacking, which is not a bad move at all. I'm just going to push over here though. This is not going to change anything. Even to the contrary, the trade is going to benefit us if it's going to benefit anyone. And let's just go here now. He's giving another check, but after that, regardless of what checks he's giving, of what attacks, we are going to be able to capture this knight in the end, because the knight isn't going anywhere anytime soon. He cannot castle. Our bishop is very well placed for him to not castle. Very, very important aspect, because now that he's down material, he's not going to be able to bring his pieces to safety in the first place anyways, which is going to benefit us even more, because we are going to have a lot of pressure. Now, let's see what he does. He has a few options. He can block with the queen, and then he's threatening this, but this is not working because we're just taking. It would have worked before, but I'm not going to go into that line, because you're simply going to just take the queen if he does that, and that is simply going to be easy anyways. Now, the best move for him is probably to play d6 to hang on a little longer. And to be honest, after takes, takes, it is not that clear who is winning right away. Obviously, we have a winning position and it's going to be easy to convert, but it is going to take a few moves. Now, our opponent is not playing at all, which is quite sad, but the knight is hanging. The position is completely winning. We could even threaten checkmate on the next few moves, and I think it is enough said if he's not going to move. Luckily, he doesn't have much more time, only 20 seconds on the clock, and then the game is going to end. 10 more seconds on the clock. The opponent is not moving. Victor Curry, thanks for playing. We have won the game, and now we know how we can defeat you with the Scotch Gambit. Our opponent is rated 1200 from Turkey. We're just going to develop our knight, strike at the center, and develop the bishop, the Scotch Gambit. Now we're just going to castle, allowing him to take this pawn, and let's see if he knows the exact line. Okay, so he doesn't know the exact line. What I'm going to do is I'm going to offer this pawn over here, and then we're going to develop the knight. We are gambiting yet another pawn. The opponent does not take it, which is quite surprising, because I believe that would have been his best move, and then I would have to fight for the compensation, but instead he decided to go over here. Now I'm attacking everything. Is he going to push twice? Yes, he is. Let's sacrifice the knight. This is such a sharp opening. It might be one of the only openings where such a sacrifice is going to be worth it. So we're just going to take over here. This is pinned, and we are already pushing, trying to gain it back. Let's see what the opponent can do. I don't really think they have much counterplay. This is why I decided to even sack the piece in the first place. and we're going to really bring our queen out and everything quite quickly. Now let's attack over here and take, and then we're going to first bring the bishop back and give a check. After that, let's see what check we give to not get into any huge troubles. I think this would have hang, and 1200 opponent already checkmated. Congratulations. Let's get into the next game. 1300 elo, we start with e4. The opponent plays e5, and then we develop the knight. We strike at the center, they take, and we develop the bishop to the Scotch Gambit. Now we have the variation with d6. We're just going to take. We have a powerful queen, and not what we're going to do, just develop everything. We place everything here. They can develop the knight. It doesn't really bother us that bad. And here, I don't really see what this bishop out here does. I'm just going to kick it out, and then I'm just going to play this move, h5. The opponent decides to bring out the queen early. I'm simply going to try and punish it. I'm just going to go here. If he gives a check, I'm going to attack. He cannot. What am I doing? He just can't give a check. Obviously, I have my rook. I don't know why I saw the pawn over here, and then I said I would push. But whatever. Now we're attacking the queen, that's for sure, and the queen might have to go back according to my calculations. We are going to take, and then now we're threatening to take over here as well. I'm not allowing him to do that at all. And now that he's done this, I'm going to just castle. This is a way simpler way to do things. So after takes, we're going to attack the bishop. We're going to push probably even once more to maybe open up the chessboard and not give him that necessary time to castle. Because here, we are going to go here. Maybe I'm just going to push, yeah. He kicks me out, okay. Quite reasonable move. To which I'm just going to slide back. Now let's see, does he push? If he does, I mean, we obviously are going to have to go back, and then we are at some point going to strike with this move, c4, trying to take the space back, because we obviously do not want to allow our opponent to be that far out for no reason. So let's go here. He's gonna have to take back with the pawn at some point. We then give a check over here, not allowing the king to castle anymore. The king is out in the open, and we should be able to secure a favorable position. So I'm just going to take over here now. We go here. Our queen is wide in the open, our king is also wide in the open, but we at least have the open file. And now after the trade is done, we are up a pawn, and we should try to win the endgame. We should not try to trade too easily, because if we do trade too easily, what we're going to do is we're going to have a opposite color bishop endgame with one pawn difference that does not help us win the game at all. So that is not what we want. That is not what we're looking for, and that is not what we are hoping for. So I'm just going to capture this pawn right here, and I'm not allowing any checks. I'm also on the verge of delivering another check, or maybe even delivering this check if he tries to go over here. And I am attacking the bishop, so I guess that he addresses that first. And I'm just going to push, not allow him to do too much, because that would be verily annoying. Now something like now something like king here is now met with this check, which is going to put him in a very, very dangerous position. Let's just give this check. Our opponent is trying to infiltrate, and we should definitely not allow that. Now that we are up 2 pawns, we should be able to trade into an endgame, so the opponent is going to go over here. This is quite literally forced, and now we are going to trade down into an endgame where we should theoretically be winning. Now the opponent hangs the queen, and 1300 rated opponent is defeated. Now, not a very quick game, but a very educational game, because we have developed all our pieces. We started putting a lot of pressure on the opponent, and At some point, the opponent just crumbled apart. We had an advantage up from here. And okay, the opponent resigned. Let's get into the next game. 1400 rated player from India. Let's play e4. After e5, we develop the knight. The opponent develops their knight, and we are going to enter the favorable Scotch game. The Scotch Gambit. After d6, you're already used to it. You just develop the knight, take with the knight. If they take, you take back with the queen and have a very powerful queen. Now, instead of that, I can see my opponent is hesitating, to which I'm just going to develop normally. I'm not going to force any queen moves out first. I'm just going to play this move f3 so that he cannot come over here and annoy us a little bit. And from there we can start our typical pawn storm that we have seen in other games and that we will see in other games likely as well. Now over here we're getting this specific move, which is quite fine. Doesn't really bother us at all. We're just going to move the knight back. We're just going to castle long, putting a lot of pressure on this file, and we are actually happy that this file has opened up and that we will be able to take. Now, the opponent has done a great job at not letting us castle, and we are going to have to take the open file another way. $1,500 rated opponent, okay? 1500 Russian player, so we're just going to develop the knight. We go over here, we enter the Scotch game. From here we can either have developing the knight, developing the bishop, or he can play h6. This is a waiting move. I'm just going to capture, and now he does not have a piece that he can make my queen go away with. Now he's playing this move c5, which is very, very weak, very, very bad, because it allows me to place my pieces on very, very powerful squares. If you can see, I can either now move my knight over here, which I did, or I could have played my bishop trying to distort his rook. Now I'm going to attack the queen once again, and from here he's already in a very annoying position because I got a fork. Now this is the instructional part of why this position is very powerful, and why after your opponent plays c5 you can just go one square down, and this is in the Scotch Gambit every time, and then you can jump the knight in. And the opponent doesn't really have a good move, because I can then just play this and then just collect the rook in the corner, which is why he has resigned. Okay, 1500 rated player from Bangladesh. We start with e4, e5, we develop our knight, we strike at the center, then we develop the bishop. Now here we're giving up another pawn, and then we can sacrifice our bishop, a brilliant move. Why? You're going to see. Do they take back or not? They take. Very, very instructional game. So here we give a check, we're forking, and we can take the bishop, we take our material back, but no, giving another check. Why? Well, very good question. It's to weaken this diagonal over here. You can see the rook is very, very vulnerable. Now we are attacking this pawn. They decided to take, and now we're putting a lot of pressure. We are even attacking the knight once again, and after that we're just going to castle if he finds the right defensive move to defend with the rook. This is very, very important for him, but he also is in a very, very dangerous position already, which is obviously very, very bad for him. And I'm saying very, very because this is very, very, okay? So let's go here. We're going to bulldoze over the entire position a little bit later. So I'm deciding to push over here. I think push is a way more powerful, because after takes, we give a check with the discovered attack, and that is going to benefit us even more. Now, let's go here, and now we take with a check right here. Let's threaten the bishop right here. We are attacking the bishop. The bishop has a few squares that he can go back to, but nothing is really that good for him. Instead, how about we attack the bishop even one more time now? He can capture the knight, he can go back, which is probably the best move for him, but capturing the knight is what he decided to go with. And now we are going to see what we can do next. So I suspect something like rook on the open file, to which I'm just going to go here. And now we have a rook on the open file. We are putting a lot of pressure on the opponent, but we need to convert this pressure and actually do something and get something out of it, and to not waste this pressure that we've got. This is very, very important, because a waste would obviously mean in a loss for us, which we obviously do not want. So let's see. We have a few ideas, and our opponent has blundered now. We can take over here. 1500 rated opponent has gone down. We are going to be able to win the game easily from here. And the game was winning regardless. We were a +3 position right here, but they had a few defensive moves that could have come. In this specific scenario, very, very difficult to bring the rook out, but I think a little bit further back over here, if they played something like this, it would have been a bit more difficult for the for us at least. Maybe he also has something like this. Maybe even rook right away, which certainly would have been interesting after something like a trade. But we have a brilliant move, and we have won the game. Let's go now right into the next one. 1600 rated opponent from Egypt. He resigned right away because he sensed the Scotch Gambit. 1700 rated opponent from Serbia. Let's see. We play e4. They play e5. We develop the knight. They develop their knight. We enter the almighty Scotch Gambit. Now let's give up another pawn. He's pushing. So the interesting part is that if he takes, we have an interesting bishop sacrifice followed by a queen check. But this is sadly not the case. In this specific match, he did not decide to take. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to take over here. And then we can play something like this, trying to trap the bishop. Okay, the opponent did not fall for it, which is not a problem. We're just going to develop further, trade everything that is not good, and after that we can reassure. Maybe we can push again in the center. Here, what we can do is actually try to trade this off and then get a strong center after he takes. This is the premise over here. So he takes. I kick out the bishop. We have a very, very powerful bishop. We have a very powerful knight that is ready to jump into the center. We are pawn storming the opponent already. He does not have many good squares to go to, which is obviously an upside for us, and we will be able to hopefully pawn storm our opponent until we win the game. So 1700 from Serbia, Swallow BG. Very, very interesting name. Let's see. Castle. We could see castles. We could see push. We could see queen down here. But I guess we're just going to advance this pawn, which is going to be very annoying for him. We also have a few bishop trap ideas after we advance this pawn. Also, if he goes here, he's going to be in big trouble. And I suspected that we may be seeing some kingside castling, some queenside castling, some long castling from the opponent. And I'm just going to trap his bishop right here. Like, I don't really understand the purpose of this move. I mean, surely he did not want me to push and ruin the structure, but this is even worse for him now. And I'm just going to start pushing. He can also open things up, which is going to make the game very sharp and very interesting. But it seems like for now this is not the case. Okay, so we pushed, the opponent resigned for some reason. We have a completely winning position. It's plus 4.8 for us. My idea was to, he goes back, we push, and from here on he's going to have a very difficult game. We can even jump our knight in, we can open things up like this to try and trade bad things off and activate our bishop. But we completely took over the game, and he had a little bit of counterplay, maybe with this, but this was not helping him. This was by far not fast enough in order to gain, for him to gain a significant advantage. Also, we were breaking everything open and the game was over. 1800 rated opponent from Indonesia. So I'm just going to play e4. Now the opponent plays e5. We're going to develop the knight. Let's see what he does. Yeah. So we're just going to strike at the center after they take. We develop our bishop over here on this strong diagonal. And then in this variation, after they play this, we're just going to take. We have an active queen in the center that cannot be traded off directly. And we never take this bishop. We wait for them to take, because otherwise we fix their pawn structure, which we obviously do not want. We don't want to fix their problems. So here I suspect something like this. we're going to go back and start pushing quite soon. The opponent has done a great job at trying to mitigate this this move, so instead we're just going to threaten something else. We're going to start another threat because this is going to be stopped, so we cannot push right away. We are going to just take here. The opponent is going to castle, and we are going to long castle as well. This is one of the most aggressive approaches, but this is also what gets your opponent to crumble. If you do not put your opponent in danger, it is not going to make him crumble at all. And now we are already attacking another pawn and also attacking this right here. First, let's attack the knight. Let's make it go over here. Then we're going to take this right here and then open things up. And maybe after that, we could push, trying to create a few problems. Let's see. Maybe we have another idea. Maybe I'm just going to go here, and after that, we're going to push. He gives a check. Let's just go back. Doesn't really create that big of a problem. And soon enough, we may be able to push. Now, not directly, obviously, because that is going to lose us the pawn. We do not want that. So instead, let's just move back, maneuver a little bit. Our knight is really strong, a really strong asset that we've got here. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm not going to play this because that is met by this directly, which is not a good move. So instead, I'm probably going to push, sacrificing, and then we're right away attacking the bishop and the pawn as well. And he did not decide to go for that. Now I'm just going to push these pawns, and I'm arguing that this is a very strong attack that our opponent is going to have trouble defending against. So we're going to go here. He's probably going to push, to which we're just going to push this pawn as well. They take, we take, they take, and we have a few ideas that already threaten checkmate. And the opponent does not have that quick of a counterplay. The opponent has brought out the queen, but it is not doing that much over there. So let's just start pushing. I hope that he takes over there, and in the end he doesn't. Okay. Now how about we start going over here, and we are threatening a few things that are not really that easy to defend for him, to be honest. So we are going to go over here. Takes, and he has to take with this pawn right here. This is a very important aspect for him. Now what he needs to do now is, after I move here, he needs to go down. So let's see if we can stop that. In fact, I believe I'm just going to double the rooks and then triple together with the queen to create this joint attack that is very powerful and quite dangerous and possibly impossible to defend. Let's see if that is true and holds to the opinion of mine, because we're gonna go here and then we're going to sacrifice everything. So that is slowly on the way. The opponent is creating counterplay, which is quite dangerous over here. This is what I'm thinking about the whole time. We have to be a little bit careful with what we're doing, because making the move too crazy is not going to get us anywhere. We should not allow a quick checkmate from the opponent. This is not what we want. So let's just take first. This is what we're going to do, and after take, we are going to push. Now we have to end this quick because the opponent is already infiltrating and creating a lot of threats, which we do not want. So we have to be sure that we are ending this game quite soon. And first of all, I'm going to start with this check over here, and takes, check here, and I'm just going to go back giving this check. I've calculated this should work out. I don't think we can take. We have to go back blocking in this rook right here. This is still covered. This is also covered because we can just go here, and we are not yet directly losing. This is a very dangerous position that we find ourselves in, but we are not losing right away, which is good because now we can start a counterattack. The opponent has tried to bring the queen to the defense, but instead he has blundered and we got checkmate. So let's see, were we actually in danger? No, we were not. We had a mate in 3 that I did not see. It's sacrificing the rook. This is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. I should have seen this. So the Scotch Gambit actually allowed us to have a really good position. Just to show you the eval bar real quick before we move on, okay? over the entirety of the game, we were completely winning. Even from here, we were completely winning. Even from here, we were completely winning, which was literally our before move 10. Even here, we were completely winning. Even here, we had a winning advantage that literally shows that this opening is so powerful. 2500 rated player. We're going to develop the knight, we're going to strike at the center, and this is literally the biggest fish that we can get. So the opponent slides back, I'm just going to take this in the center. Let's develop the knight. We're going to defend everything, just castle the king, and this is the biggest fish that we can get. Now, he has a sneaky sacrifice that I didn't see, which is quite interesting. But I'm just going to go over here. I'm not going to allow too much. This is very important. He's going to sacrifice that. Very interesting. I don't think that that is working that well for him. Now he goes here. I'm just going to kick out the knight. The knight is going to slide over there. I'm just going to, after that, try to develop the queen. And from there on, just put a little bit of more pressure on the opponent. Okay, so here's Stefan from the future. I had to voice over this because I decided to stay silent and focus instead of just talking. So what I decided to do is to trade the bishop, so he took. And after that, the knight is under attack, so he had to move it over here. And he decided to sacrifice it, which I wondered, what is that for? So here he decided to sacrifice, I took, and then he give a check with the queen. And I slide to the side and I'm saying, okay, maybe I can escape the checks by blocking a few of them. So I just went to the corner. I thought, okay, he would just go bottom right, and then he would decide to give a check. But that was a mistake. He gave me time to simply bring in the queen. And from here, I could just escape with my queen and with my king to block all the checks. So you can see he's giving a check, he will then give another check, I'm blocking, and I calculated, okay, if I then block with the queen, he can go bottom left, which is not covered by the knight, sadly. And what I did here is I decided to, since I cannot block with the rook, go to the corner, and over here he could have simply just taken, which would have been more simpler for him, but he decided to give a check, and then all of a sudden, you will be shocked by this, he hung his queen. Yes, he did. And then I'm taking a look at, what is this? And then all of a sudden I notice, I'm like, what?
What?
The game is over?
What? 2500 elo rated player.
I needed to focus that game, okay? I needed to focus that game. I did not say anything. But we defeated a 2500 rated player with the Scotch Gambit. Were we in danger? Yes. Is he a better player than me? Not necessarily. Did he catch me off guard a little bit? Yes. Were we winning? Of course. Have we managed to find a way to completely demolish him? Yes. Has he blundered the queen? I guess. But he was losing anyways. So just to analyze the game real quick. This was completely winning up until now. Castles was not a very good move. Just push. I don't know. I think I should have focused on castling, on pushing. This is keeping the pawn structure very intact. Like literally has zero counterplay. Even something like this, he's completely demolished after this. Like you do not take this one, okay? You do not take this one, which is fair enough. You just castle. But after that, you have a lot of different moves that you can set your opponent off with. This is not one of them, but you can play a bunch of different moves. I guess push should be also a very good idea. Yeah, because then he doesn't really have any good moves. Well, isn't this the proof that the Scotch Gambit is literally one of the best openings that you can use? If even a 2500 elo rated player or 2455, this should be good enough. Especially in Blitz, okay? This is not how high I am rated in Blitz. This is how high I am rated in Rapid, but in Blitz, he's quite strong. He has a very good profile. So yeah, use the Scotch Gambit, guys. This is the best opening for you. I think the point is proven.